You guys ready to rock it tonight? Yeah? Yeah, we'll be Swedish tonight. Can we be Swedish? Alright, VVCC. Let's move. Now, if you have not signed up for the Freedom Through Fitness movement, it's coming up. So make sure you guys get signed up tonight. Pre-sign for that program. It's coming up, what's the date on that? July 18th, the Thursday, okay? So make sure you guys get your sign up tonight for that. We're a little light on tickets. We might have them, okay? But make sure you get signed up, okay? Well, it's 18 or 19. I'm not sure what day it is. Anybody check your phone? Let me know. Is it the 19th? Okay, is the ticket right or wrong? This is wrong. Figures I got it wrong. Okay, if I see any misspellings, just ignore it and pretend it doesn't do it. Mary, especially you. Okay, Mary corrects me at the end of the program every time. All right, so tonight we're going to talk about the brainstorm. We're talking about brain functions because it's so critical by today's standards. We're more depressed, we're more affected in our brain chemistry than ever in the history of mankind. And guys, the answer is not outside in drugs and pills and potions and things. The answer is always the same. It's inside of us. It's through the 5 essentials of good health. Now, the number one essential and why you're here tonight is what? Mind, right? And the center of everything is how we think. So we have to make sure we're thinking right in order to make sure our bodies stay and maintain good health. But all the essentials are critical, and we'll hit every one as it relates to brain function. Ironically, we're talking about brainstorm and mindset. Mind is the number one thing as it relates to good health in your mind. You have to have the right mindset. So positive brain environment. Now I want to talk a little bit about the way we think, okay? Number one, we're great at excuses, okay? I don't have time for this. I can't make time for that. I'm too busy for this, too busy for that. I read a post from a friend of mine. It was on Steve Jobs. Can we agree Steve Jobs is a multi-gazillionaire? What good's it doing him, huh? Yeah, what happened? He died, right? And when he died, he made some statements and he posted them. And he said things like, what's most important is your health. Because once you lose it, you can't buy it back. Because he had billions of dollars, and no matter what he did, he couldn't buy his health back. He died at what, 52, I think it was? I mean, is it worth the billions of dollars and things that you have to do? Stop making excuses. Because I promise you, your body will make you take action if you don't. It will make you take the needed action. And it takes hard work. It's not simple. It's not easy. There's no magic pill. There's no magic thing you can buy. There's not a magic Dr. Oz fat loss pill that works. That's a fake, believe me, it doesn't work. Okay? So take care of it. Take care of yourself. Do what you say you're going to do. Commit and then follow through. You got to decide. Stop being a woolly washer. Start getting into it. Make it happen. And never, ever, 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 ever give up. Never, ever give up. Because you're worth it. You guys know that? You are worth good health. You are. You're worth it. So never give up on yourself and give up on that achieve whatever you want. Just go for it. I don't care what's wrong with you. You can get better if you never give up. If it gets hard, what do? Oh, I gotta give up. I give up. No, you push in harder. You work harder. You apply more of the principle. You bust your hiney and get that job done. Make sense? So you've got to have the right mindset for this stuff to work. Okay? Now, we just finished a program on the toxic program last month, but we've got to make sure we're not toxifying the brain. So I'm going to take a little bit of time on that, and I'm going to look at some of the stuff as it relates to poisoning our brain. One of the biggest challenges we have with the chemicals that we use is it breaks down what's called the blood-brain barrier. There's a barrier between the bloodstream and your brain, and it's because it's trying to keep the immune system out of your brain, okay? Because the immune system, if you break down the blood-brain barrier, the immune system starts attacking your brain and causing all kinds of problems. But look at all these things that we're putting into our bodies. It's just destroying our health. So we have to stop Oh, here we go. There it goes. So we have to stop poisoning our bodies and make sure we're going the right direction. Okay? So let's talk a little bit, hold on a second, here we go, a little about this blood-brain barrier thing. Brian, or I need some help pushing the go button because the computer's faced the wrong direction. Okay? Okay, that didn't work. Okay? Where's Amanda? All right, hold on a second. Let me slide right by you, please. All right, I need to get over here. All right, you got to roll it way over to one side. It's got to turn red.
To the right.
Yeah, Brian, you're facing it the wrong direction. I can't reach it. Okay. Sorry, let Brian get in there. There it is. Good. Okay, we're going to learn a little about the blood-brain barrier and how it
Welcome to
works.
2 Minute Neuroscience, where I simplistically explain neuroscience topics in 2 minutes or less. In this installment, I will discuss the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier is a complex that surrounds most of the blood vessels in the brain. It acts as a barrier between the bloodstream and the extracellular space of the brain, allowing only certain substances like water, oxygen, and small lipid-soluble substances to easily cross from the blood into the brain. This prevents toxins, pathogens, and other potentially dangerous substances from crossing from the circulatory system into the brain. It is thought that the central components of the structure of the blood-brain barrier are the tight junctions of endothelial cells, the cells that make up the interior surface of blood vessels. In other blood vessels throughout the body, there are small spaces between these endothelial cells. Small blood-borne substances can pass through these spaces and into surrounding tissues. The endothelial cells that make up the blood-brain barrier, however, are fused tightly together to form tight junctions that restrict diffusion across the blood vessel lining. Glial cells called astrocytes also have projections called astrocytic end feet that extend to the walls of blood vessels that are part of the blood-brain barrier. Astrocytic end feet often completely surround blood vessels in the brain and are thought to play critical roles in the formation of the blood-brain barrier. For example, they seem to be involved with signaling that prompts endothelial cells to form the tight junctions necessary to create the blood-brain barrier, and they are believed to have multiple functions involving the maintenance and regulation of the blood-brain barrier. The blood-brain barrier protects most of the blood vessels in the brain, but there are some areas that lack a blood-brain barrier, allowing substances to pass from the circulatory system to the brain and back. For example, the circumventricular organs are a group of structures lacking a blood-brain barrier that are centered around
Notice
the
this
ventricles of the
circle
brain.
one right here.
These structures are thought to be lacking a blood-brain barrier because their functions require access to the bloodstream. The posterior pituitary gland, for example, has to be able to release hormones directly into the bloodstream.
Okay, so again, a lot of gobbledygook. Oh, you're there, Brian. Okay, got a lot of gobbledygook going on there. But the idea is the brain is separate from the rest of the world, except for certain areas where it's got to get nutrition and information into the body. So the problem you run into is that these penetrate into the area and they start to damage specific areas of the brain, which leads us down the path of Alzheimer's. So again, this is from the last program. So again, there's 2 layers to keeping the body clear of poison. This is the liver in a word format, basically. The liver has 2 lobes, 1 and 2, phase 1 and phase 2, what's called conjugation, or changing or biotransforming. It's taking a poison and converting it into something that's neutral. Okay, then we poop it out or pee it out, or we use it as a bowel action or bile for digesting fats. But that was the last program. So if you need to get detoxified, first thing you need are your greens, which are sulfurated phytochemicals, which helps, that's like garlic and your broccoli and the one with heads on the top. That's your step 2 conjugation, but this is the last program. Okay, we need all of the glutathione, which is a very powerful antioxidant, which neutralizes poisons. We need the Clearvite CLA, which provides various amino acids to help biotransform. And the final thing you need is your antioxidant, milk thistle, vitamin E and C, which is located in your hepatosynergy supplement. This is how you're maximizing the detoxification to ensure that you don't have damage to your brain and passing things through that blood-brain barrier. Okay? All right. So let's move. Let's do this. Okay, go, Brian. Okay, these are cell phone toxins. Okay, this is the environmental toxins. Let's talk about how this happens with cell phones.
The rate of aggressive malignant tumors in England have more than doubled in recent years, and a new study is questioning what could be driving that rise. RT's Trinity Chavez has the report.
We started using our cell phones regularly in the mid-1990s, but now we use cell phones more than ever before. Now new research is suggesting that cell phones may be behind a surge of a deadly brain tumor. It's the latest research linking cancer and cell phones, this time from the UK using data from the Office of National Statistics. Researchers tracked the incidence of all diagnosed with brain cancer. While they found that the rates of brain cancers overall had stayed the same, there was a rise in glioblastoma cases. According to the report, the researchers analyzed over 79,000 malignant brain tumors over 21 years. They found that in 1995, glioblastoma cases in England increased from 983 to 2,531 in 2015, at the same time of the rise of smartphones.
I mean, it's something to think about, but on the other hand, this is the new world. Everybody's using cell phones, and no one ever thinks about using an earpiece or Bluetooth, which prevents it, but what are you going to do? You have to go with the flow.
I really shouldn't be shocked because, you know, I hear it comes back and forth. Like they say it's good, it's not bad for you, and they say it's not harmful. So, you know, an ounce of prevention is better than, you know, just blindly, you know, believing that nothing's going to hurt you.
But critics warn the study only identifies a trend in tumor diagnosis rates and does not provide sufficient evidence that mobile phones are to blame. Andrew Sherricks of the University of Manchester said the study does not investigate or uncover any causes for this and merely speculates at possible causes such as radiation emitted from mobile phones. There is zero evidence of a link between mobile phones and brain tumors.
So they said zero leak, right? That's what they said. But you saw the rise in cell phone usage, and you see the RF forces. So look at this, though. Brian, I need you to click outside the field for me, please. Okay, thank you. Okay, the World Health Organization classified these radio frequencies coming from our cell phones, these electromagnetic fields linked to wireless phones, as a possible carcinogen. That was done back in 2011. Okay, so in 2011 they said, hey, the World Health Organization said it, but nobody wants to admit it because we're using cell phones. And like that one guy said, it's like, well, it's the new world. Well, it's new cancer, I guess. We're just going to suffer through it. Okay, so there's ways to get around it. Now, Apple a legal page suggests that to reduce the exposure to this RF energy, use the hands-free option. Go down here talking on the phone with the speaker, right, instead. And then maybe using the earpieces, but not the kind that hang in your ear because they have the same RF frequencies. The ones that connect, not wireless. Okay, you follow me? So, but Dr. Ray, you don't get it, man. I need my cell phone, and she's cell phoning right there. Is that right? Okay, but the point being is that if you're using your cell phones, guys, the problem is you get it too close to your body. So when you put it here, it's a problem. Okay, so the wireless thing. Now, most of the time, though, where's your cell phone? In your pocket, next to what? Important pieces of equipment for things, yeah? Okay, so if you absolutely have to keep it on your body, you need to keep it a half inch away from your body to decrease that exposure. But if you insist on putting your phone against your body, make sure that you put it in the airplane mode, okay? So turn it on airplane mode and put it back in your pocket. That way you're not emitting frequencies, you're not receiving the RF poison. Make sense? So simple, right? So just don't put it against your pie hole, right? Use the wireless or use your earphones, okay? And if you're putting it against your body, put it in airplane mode. So there's ways to protect yourself through that, okay? So there's some stuff there. Now chiropractic, let's talk about this whole concept of brain function. Now I'm going to talk about something that, why do some people get problems with Alzheimer's, dementia, or any other type of pathology, why other people get sick? Well, it's called the range of adaptability. Our ability to adapt to the environment. Now, the red line here, guys, represents stress. So raise your hand if you don't have stress in your life, please, right now. One person, liar, Penelope. Okay, I know you have stress. In fact, I know you do too, you big liar. Okay, now this down here, this line right here is a low range of adaptability. Your body can't adapt to the environment. Now, when you get, the most common thing that the medical profession uses to determine range of adaptability is called heart rate variability. How quickly can your heart go from a low rate to a high rate and back down again? So you want a high range of variability. So if somebody comes up behind you and goes, "Ooh," what's going to happen to your heart rate? It's going to jump up and skyrocket and go down and slowly, right? Now, if you have a low range of adaptability, the heart rate can't adapt to that environment, what's going to happen? You're going to go boo and give somebody